And please, I will request you to remain here with me for a minute. You will help me invite our Deputy Minister. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, our Honorable Jumanne Abdallah Segini, the Deputy Minister, he's been a member of Parliament of United Republic of Tanzania and a Deputy Minister of our Constitutional and Legal Affairs Ministry. Mr. Segini holds a master's degree in education, has served as a teacher for many years. Then he transitioned to the Ministry of Education headquarters, working as an education planning officer. He served as a permanent secretary under the Prime Minister's office before joining the Parliament of Tanzania as a member of Parliament and was appointed as a Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Currently, he serves as the Deputy Minister in the Ministry of Constitutional and Legal Affairs. Mr. Segini's extensively career reflects a dedication to public service and improving the lives of Tanzanians. His experience spans education, policy development, local government administration, and regional development. Mr. Segini's commitment to continuous learning and leadership positions him to continue making valuable contribution in his current role and future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Madam Margaret to help me and help us welcome the Deputy Minister to speak to us.
Thank you so much. After having heard the biography from Madam Olivia, let me take this opportunity now to invite Honorable Minister, Member of Parliament, to take the floor and give his speech. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa Waziri.
Wangapi wanasema Kiingereza kama lugha yao ya kwanza? English speaking is the first language amongst the participants. How many are we? English speaking is first language. Nobody. A second language? Almost everyone. Is a foreign language? So next time, we make sure many of us use what is either first language or second language, and we have simultaneous equipment for translation. That will make our life easier, right? The organizers. Tanzania has improved a lot. Tuna majengo yana hizo facilities za translate. Wengine mimi kama mimi Kiingereza lugha yangu ya sita. Sasa unataka ni struggle hapa kusema Kiingereza. Nilianza na mother tongue inaitwa Kikwaya, nikaenda Kizanaki, nikaenda Kikuria, alafu nikaanza kujifunza Kiswahili, alafu Kiingereza ndo kikafuata. Sasa Dr. Talayo Adibola, the President of African International Economic Law Networks, Dr. Regis Simo, Chair of 2024 Bridge Conference of African International Economic Law Networks, representatives of national and regional institutions, the private sector, the think tank, development partners present, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, habari ya mchana. Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Dear participants, it gives me pleasure to welcome you all to the shores of the Indian Ocean here in Dar es Salaam to deliberate on such a monumental achievement for our continent, the African Continental Free Trade Area, the agreement establishing it and its protocols. Karibuni sana, much welcome. I'm much delighted and honored to deliver this welcome address on behalf of my minister, Honorable Ambassador Pindi Azara Chana, Member of Parliament, Minister of Constitutional Legal Affairs, to such a distinguished audience at this 2024 African International Economic Law Networks Bridge Conference on the theme, a critical appraisal of the status and implementation of the AfCFTA agreement and the protocols, organized by the African International Economic Law Network, Afronomics Law, and the Tanzanian Trade and Investment Coalition. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to begin by noting that while our development as a continent and our politics may be under strain, there is so much that's good about this continent, so much to be proud of, and so much to be optimistic about. One of the beams of hope is the African Continental Free Trade Area. The sheer potential it holds for the future inspires us all as we gather in Dar Es Salaam over the next few days to take stock of its implementation. We meet here today on the cusp of economic emancipation for the continent through the African Continental Free Trade Area. As you can imagine, the comfort of this great continent of ours will be a collective effort for all citizens and the countries. This conference and the similar platforms all counts as efforts towards the transformation of Africa. As a country, we have made similar strides towards the advancement of Africa, and we hope that this conference will come up with a few lessons to be incorporated into our efforts. I can refer to what the director from the Ministry of Industry and Trade alluded to us here recently. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, Tanzania shines as a land of immense promise, and this is further catalyzed by regional integration efforts presented through the East African Cooperation and the African Continental Free Trade Area, renowned for its breathtaking landscape, vibrant culture, and unending safaris, including the Samaki of the rock city of Mwanza that the professor had been referred to, which will no doubt be indulged in, lies a great nation with friendly and diverse people brought together by an ever forward-looking government. With the shared goals of prosperity for its people and our planet and affinity for investments, Tanzania has positioned itself as a gateway to the larger East African community with a population of roughly 500 million consumers. As the government, under the able leadership of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, we are all committed to the African Continent Free Trade Area, and even before the ratification of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement on 9th September 2021. We have sought to reform our trade policy over the last 3 decades, with the goal being to achieve global and regional integration to speed up economic growth. Our national trade policy encapsulates this vision clearly, and it brings us such a joy that the African Continental Free Trade Area ties in perfectly with our long-held aspiration for regional integration. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, we are also well positioned on the African Continental Free Trade Area, having been part of the pilot countries under the Area Guided Trade Initiative, which was launched in October 2022, which saw our participation in the preferential trade in 96 various identified commodities among Cameroon, Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Mauritius, Rwanda, Tunisia, and ourselves. We are grateful for the success of this pilot program and the opportunity in which we can now trade in the African Continental Free Trade Area as a continent. However, we acknowledge that there are outstanding state party commitments to fully realize the goals of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and as before, the United Republic of Tanzania is at the forefront in these initiatives. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, Tanzania's commitment under the African Continental Free Trade Area are being negotiated through the East African Community, EAC. This familiarity guarantees some positive returns. Integrating the African Continental Free Trade Area instruments through an already existing trade channels ensures that the operationalization should be without major drawbacks. This is a matter of simple system analysis. These countries have been working together cohesively towards a merely new tool towards achieving the very same goal. It is a catalyst in this endeavor. It is in this regard that I'm happy to reiterate some of the Tanzanian past inroads in implementing the FTA. The Ministry of Industry and Trade, together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Eastern Cooperation, have been working in concert with the EAC Secretary to ensure that tariff offers will gradually constitute about 88% against the required threshold of 90%, liberalization of 5,688 tariff lines over the next 10 years. The Ministry of Trade and Industry has confirmed that Tanzania has neared completion of phase 1 of the African Continental Free Trade Area. This has been achieved in conjunction with the discussions between the Ministry, Confederation of Tanzanian Industries, CTI, and the Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, TPSF. The progress that has been made under phase 1 is the submission of tariff offers and the schedules of commitment on services. These have been submitted to the EAC Secretariat for consideration. As I have earlier mentioned, that our AfCFTA commitments are being negotiated through the East African Cooperation along other member states in the region. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, this conference comes at the time when we are grappling with implementation and operationalization. The African Continental Free Trade Area, on its incredible novel project, it rests on us to do a lot of preparatory work to get our affairs in order before fully ushering in this groundbreaking agreement. Our laws have to harmonize with these instruments so that our people in the East African region can benefit from this in every aspect, leaving nothing to chance. Ladies and gentlemen, but even as we gather as experts on the subject of African Continental Free Trade Area to critically appraise its implementation, it will be a remiss for us not to take stock of some of the issues and that continue to hinder the full realization of the African Continental Free Trade Area. I'm sure we can all agree that at times experts sit on a table with little to no regard to how the policies churned out in impeccable English and intricate detail scaled down to the masses. Mnatumia Kiingereza kigumu, technical jargons which don't make any sense to the common people. Why can't we simplify? That's a message, especially to the professors, the dons, and the like. Let's touch the ground. Otherwise, it will be good paperwork, but no implementation at all. As government, a sensitization workshop in Songwe found that ordinary Tanzanians are not aware of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and this could affect how they participate and benefit from it in the long run. For instance, as a government, we have to increase our efforts towards spreading this gospel so that we reach every demographic. We hope this conference shall give us the necessary guidelines so that we can fill the gaps identifiable in our models. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, we urge stakeholders to make use of us, patronize us, and the commissioners, as we are all partners in this. Every enterprise has a seat at the table. We call on them to knock on our doors at any hour. We shall pace up our implementation and set out to iron out any disgruntlements our stakeholders face. As a country, we will ensure that our trade policies stay on par with the values of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Our commitments therein improve our laws where necessary to strengthen the participation of Tanzanians in the arena so that our region benefit to the highest degree. Whether we all look forward to the call for action that will emanate from the meeting of minds represented here today. Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for your kind attention, and I welcome you all once again to the Dar es Salaam and Tanzania in general. Asanteni sana. After all these remarks, allow me to announce that the 2024 African International Economic Law Networks Bridge Conference officially opened. Thank you for your attention.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa, thank you very much. And on behalf of the conference, Madam President has a souvenir bag that we are going to be using. And it's made of kitenge, and it's made here in Dar es Salaam. Okay. Yes.